Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to geek out. Let's do it.
Okay, so today we're tackling computer acronyms,
Oh boy, yeah.
and specifically one that's a real classic, PCMCIA.
Yes, PCMCIA.
Now, not only is it a mouthful to say, but it also perfectly captures how tech jargon can be both confusing and kind of funny at the same time. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's practically a meme at this point. People can't
Yeah.
memorize computer industry acronyms. It's like, the joke writes itself.
Seriously. But before we get to the punchline, I think it's important to remember that PCMCIA cards were actually kind of a big deal back in the day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, think about it. Laptops were still pretty limited in what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
And these little cards, you could add memory, network connectivity, even sound cards, all through these little slots. It was like magic back then.
It was. We're talking like pre-USB era, right?
Uh-huh.
So these cards were a game changer for expanding what laptops could do. It was a pretty ingenious solution at the time.
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere that some of those early PCMCIA modems were like notoriously finicky,
Oh, they could be. Yeah.
but even with their quirks, they were still a huge step forward in laptop technology.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, did the limitations of PCMCIA actually help pave the way for, well, the USB we all use today?
That's a fascinating thought. It's definitely possible. I mean, those early PCMCIA cards, while innovative, were also kind of bulky,
Yeah,
and they could be unreliable, let's be honest.
right.
So the need for a more universal and streamlined solution, something that was, well, just easier to use, absolutely could have pushed the development of USB forward.
That's really cool to think about. And it kind of brings us back to the whole humorous side of PCMCIA, the people can't memorize computer industry acronyms thing.
It's true, though. Sometimes it feels like the tech industry just loves to invent new acronyms.
Yeah.
Like they're having a competition to see who can come up with the most confusing one.
Uh-huh. Maybe they are. But, for someone who's just trying to figure out how to use their new smartphone or pick out a decent laptop, it's not so funny.
No, absolutely not.
It could be super intimidating.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this whole alphabet soup of acronyms actually a barrier to people understanding technology, would you say?
I think it definitely can be a barrier. Yeah. Think about it. You walk into a store to buy a new laptop,
Uh,
and you're immediately hit with all this jargon about RAM, SSDs, GPUs.
whoa, too much.
Right. It can be so overwhelming. And even if you know what those acronyms stand for, understanding how they actually affect performance is a whole other challenge.
It's like you need a glossary just to read a product description.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was trying to buy a new graphics card a while back, I got totally lost in the terminology.
Exactly. And that's the real issue here. How do we make technology more accessible to everyone without dumbing it down or sacrificing accuracy? It's a tricky balance to strike.
So it's not about getting rid of technical language altogether.
Not necessarily. I mean, some level of technical language is important for precision and clarity, right? Right. But it's about finding that sweet spot where we can explain those terms in a way that makes sense to everyone. Maybe use analogies or real-world examples that people can relate to.
So instead of just saying like, this laptop has 16 GBish of DDR5 RAM,
Yeah, right.
you explain what that actually means for the user's experience.
Exactly.
Like, this means you can have a bunch of programs open at the same time and everything will still run smoothly. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's about bridging that gap between the tech specs and the actual benefits for the person using the device.
Well, it seems like PCMCIA, even though it's kind of outdated technology, it's given us a lot to think about.
It really has. It's a reminder that technology is always evolving, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But with that evolution comes new terminology. And we need to make sure that language doesn't become a barrier to understanding and enjoying all the cool stuff technology has to offer.
That's a great point. So next time you come across a tech acronym that makes your head spin, remember PCMCIA and what we've been talking about. Find out what it officially means, but don't be afraid to laugh at it a little too.
Yeah, find the humor in it.
And hey, don't be shy about asking for a plain English explanation. You never know, your question might just spark the next big tech innovation.
Maybe even the next USB.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.